In 2007, a group of misfits taught us that smart is the new sexy. 17 years later, the Bazinga era feels like a distant dream. As we look back at the original cast, the weight of nostalgia hits harder than ever. From Kaley Cuoco's rise to Jim Parsons' incredible evolution, see the stunning reality of how life after the sitcom has aged these beloved icons. Jim Parsons as Sheldon Cooper. Born on March 24, 1973, in Houston, Texas, the classically trained actor spent years working in off-Broadway productions and commercial auditions before landing the role that would define his career. At the age of 34, Parsons introduced the world to Dr. Sheldon Cooper, a brilliant theoretical physicist with a total lack of social skills and a rigid adherence to routine. His portrayal became the comedic anchor of The Big Bang Theory, earning him 4 Primetime Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe. Sheldon's specific idiosyncrasies, from his Bazinga catchphrase to his obsessive knocking ritual, transformed the character into a global pop culture icon and propelled the show to become the highest-rated comedy on television. Despite the character's robotic lack of empathy and arrogant demeanor, Jim Parsons is known for his emotional intelligence, polite nature, and affability, standing in stark contrast to the abrasive genius he played. This difference often made the immense fame difficult to navigate, as fans expected the precise asexual eccentric rather than the warm actor. Parsons faced a significant professional hurdle when he decided to leave the series after season 12, a choice that effectively ended the show and reportedly caused temporary tension with the cast and crew who wished to continue. He also had to fight hard against the industry's tendency to typecast deliberately, choosing darker dramatic roles on stage and screen immediately following the sitcom's conclusion to prove his range. Jim Parsons successfully transitioned from sitcom stardom to a respected career in film and theater, while also finding fulfillment in his personal life with his husband, art director Todd Spiewak, whom he married in 2017. He remained connected to his most famous character by serving as the narrator and executive producer for the spin-off series Young Sheldon, while also producing and starring in LGBTQ+-focused projects like The Boys in the Band and Spoiler Alert. As of 2026, at the age of 52, he remains an active force in Hollywood and on Broadway, having effectively shed the sole definition of Sheldon Cooper to build a diverse and acclaimed body of work. Kaley Cuoco as Penny. Born on November 30, 1985, in Camarillo, California, the former child star had already appeared on sitcoms like 8 Simple Rules before landing the role that would define her career. At the age of 21, Cuoco began portraying the aspiring actress and Cheesecake Factory waitress living across the hall from 2 socially awkward physicists. Her portrayal of Penny served as the audience surrogate and the emotional anchor of the series, evolving from a girl-next-door archetype into a street-smart, fully realized character. Over 12 seasons, her comedic chemistry helped the show become a global phenomenon, and she became one of the highest-paid actresses in television history. While Penny was often depicted as financially chaotic, messy, and struggling to find her path, Kaley Cuoco is a disciplined professional, a competitive equestrian, and a shrewd businesswoman who launched her own production company during the show's run. Her journey was not without significant challenges. In 2010, she suffered a severe horse riding accident that resulted in a compound fracture and nearly required the amputation of her leg, a terrifying ordeal that forced her to miss filming and undergo extensive surgery. Professionally, she also faced the looming threat of typecasting that plagues many sitcom icons. For years, she had to work diligently to prove to the industry that she possessed the range to handle dark, dramatic material beyond the bubbly comedic persona of the neighbor across the hall. Kaley Cuoco successfully shattered the sitcom mold, reinventing her career through her company, Yes Norman Productions. She earned critical acclaim and award nominations for producing and starring in the dark comedy thriller The Flight Attendant, and found a new fan base voicing the title character in the animated series Harley Quinn. In her personal life, after previous marriages, she found a lasting partnership with actor Tom Pelphrey, and the couple welcomed their daughter Matilda in 2023. As of 2026, at the age of 40, she remains a dominant force in Hollywood, actively balancing her role as a sought-after lead actress and executive producer with motherhood. Regina King as Janine Davis. Born on January 15, 1971 in Los Angeles, California, the seasoned actress joined the cast of the long-running sitcom as a recurring guest star to challenge the show's lead eccentrics. At the age of 41, King's portrayal of Mrs. Janine Davis, the no-nonsense human resources administrator at Caltech, became a highlight of the series, serving as the ultimate deadpan foil to the main character's absurdity. Her dry delivery and withering glares provided a grounding reality to the show's antics, proving her immense comedic timing and adding a memorable spark to the cultural juggernaut that was The Big Bang Theory. In stark contrast to the humorless, bureaucratic, and impatient character of Janine Davis, Regina King is known in reality as a warm, vibrantly creative, and deeply empathetic artist. While she made the role look effortless, her broader career was marked by a long fight against industry typecasting. Despite early fame as a teen star, she spent years battling to transition from supporting wife or sister roles into the serious dramatic leads and directing positions she deserved. Her personal life also faced profound hardship, most notably the devastating loss of her only son, Ian Alexander Jr., to suicide in 2022, a tragedy that paused her career as she navigated a period of intense private grief. Regina King eventually transcended her supporting roles to become one of the most acclaimed figures in Hollywood, winning an Academy Award for If Beale Street Could Talk, and multiple Emmys for acclaimed series like Watchmen and American Crime. She also successfully pivoted to directing with the critically agreed-upon masterpiece One Night in Miami. As of 2026, at the age of 55, she is an industry powerhouse, continuing to direct and star in high-profile projects while championing underrepresented voices in cinema, cementing a legacy that far exceeds her time in Caltech's HR department. Mayim Bialik as Amy Farrah Fowler. Born on December 12, 1975, the San Diego native joined the cast of The Big Bang Theory during the season 3 finale, marking her return to major sitcom television. At the age of 34, Bialik's portrayal of the socially awkward neurobiologist Amy Farrah Fowler provided a perfect comedic foil and romantic interest for Sheldon Cooper. Her character became a cultural icon for women in STEM, evolving from a robotic deadpan outcast into a complex, emotional, and fashion-conscious woman, who eventually wins a Nobel Prize within the show's narrative, earning Bialik 4 Emmy nominations along the way. While Amy was initially depicted as frumpy and oblivious to social cues, Bialik is a confident, outspoken Hollywood veteran who possesses a real-life Ph.D. in neuroscience, making her the only cast member who actually understood the scientific dialogue. Despite her early fame as the star of Blossom, her return to acting was born of struggle. She famously admitted that she began auditioning for the sitcom not for fame, but because she had run out of health insurance and needed a union job to support her family. Her career has continued to face hurdles, including the cancellation of her sitcom Call Me Kat after 3 seasons and a highly publicized abrupt dismissal from her role as a host of Jeopardy, which subjected her to intense public scrutiny and online criticism. Mayim Bialik continues to diversify her career beyond acting, focusing heavily on writing, directing, and mental health advocacy. She maintains a strong digital presence through her podcast, Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, where she utilizes her academic background to demystify mental health issues for a broad audience. As of 2026, at the age of 50, she is an active creative force in the industry, balancing her scientific expertise with her entertainment legacy, having successfully navigated the difficult transition from child star to academic to adult icon. Johnny Galecki as Leonard Hofstadter. Born on April 30th, 1975 in Brie, Belgium, the actor had already established himself as a child star on Roseanne before landing his most iconic role. At the age of 32, Galecki stepped into the shoes of the experimental physicist Leonard Hofstadter, serving as the relatable straight man and emotional anchor for the show's eccentric cast. His portrayal of the lovelorn scientist, particularly his chemistry with the neighbor Penny, became the heart of the series, helping The Big Bang Theory evolve from a niche comedy into a global ratings juggernaut that dominated television for 12 seasons. While Leonard was often depicted as socially awkward, neurotic, and physically unintimidating, Johnny Galecki is known in reality as a confident, artistic individual with a passion for motorcycles and playing the bass guitar. This contrast required him to constantly suppress his natural charisma to play the insecure physicist. His career was not without personal and professional challenges. He had to navigate the complexities of a secret 2-year real-life romance and subsequent breakup with co-star Kaley Cuoco, while their characters were falling in love on screen. Additionally, he faced a devastating personal loss in 2017 when a wildfire completely destroyed his ranch and home in San Luis Obispo, forcing him to continue working on a hit comedy while processing the destruction of his personal sanctuary. After the sitcom concluded, Galecki made a conscious decision to step away from the Hollywood limelight to prioritize his family and personal well-being. As of 2026, at the age of 51, he is residing in Nashville, Tennessee, having largely retired from acting to focus on fatherhood and his marriage to his wife, Morgan. He has traded the sound stages of Los Angeles for a quieter domestic life, dedicating his time to raising his children and exploring interests in interior design and architecture content, with leaving the high-pressure world of network television behind. Simon Helberg as Howard Wolowitz. Born on December 9, 1980, in Los Angeles, California, the actor stepped into the shoes of the colorful belt-buckle-wearing aerospace engineer in 2007. At the age of 26, Helberg's portrayal of Howard Wolowitz became integral to The Big Bang Theory, masterfully evolving the character from a desperate wannabe ladies' man into a devoted husband and astronaut. Over 12 seasons, his impeccable physical comedy, distinct vocal delivery, and musical talents helped cement the show as a global phenomenon, making Wolowitz a beloved figure in pop culture history. While Howard was known for his loud fashion sense and initial lack of social boundaries, Simon Helberg is known for being a reserved classical pianist and a dedicated family man, a stark contrast to his on-screen persona's early sleaziness. This distinct separation between man and character presented its own hurdles. The sheer magnitude of the show's success created a golden handcuffs scenario, where the threat of severe typecasting made it challenging to pivot towards serious, dramatic work. His journey also included the standard volatility of Hollywood. Prior to his massive success, he faced the disappointment of swift show cancellations, such as his role on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, illustrating the precarious nature of the industry before he found stability. Simon Helberg has continued to expand his artistic range beyond the sitcom world, prioritizing dramatic roles and film projects that utilize his musical background. He has remained happily married to actress and director Jocelyn Town, with whom he shares 2 children, maintaining a relatively low profile compared to the height of his television fame. As of 2026, at the age of 46, he is active in the industry, successfully navigating the post-sitcom landscape. By choosing selective character-driven roles in film and theater that challenge his comedic roots. Kunal Nayyar as Rauch Kuthrapalli. Born on April 30th, 1981, in Hammersmith, London, and raised in New Delhi, India, the actor moved to the United States to pursue his education before turning to acting. At the age of 26, Nayyar landed the role of Rauch Kuthrapalli, the lovable astrophysicist who initially suffered from selective mutism. His portrayal became a crucial element of The Big Bang Theory, which grew into a global phenomenon and one of the most successful sitcoms in history. For 12 seasons, his character's journey from a painfully shy romantic to a confident scientist provided a unique cultural touchstone, making him one of the highest-paid television actors in the world during the show's peak. In stark contrast to Rauch, who was famously awkward with women and fashion-challenged, Kunal Nayyar is confident, fashion-forward, and married to a former Miss India Neha Kapoor. This difference highlighted his acting ability, but the immense specificity of the character became a professional hurdle. Following the conclusion of the series, Nayyar faced the significant struggle of escaping the shadow of Rauch. He had to fight against the industry's tendency to typecast him in similar comedic or stereotypical roles, making a deliberate and difficult pivot toward dark, dramatic projects to prove his range beyond the multicam sitcom format that defined his early career. Kunal Nayyar has successfully managed to reinvent his screen presence, taking on serious roles in projects like the thriller series Suspicion and the drama Criminal UK, which earned him critical acclaim for playing a chillingly manipulative convict. He continues to balance his work in film and television while maintaining a stable private life with his wife in Los Angeles. As of 2026, at the age of 45, he is an active and versatile actor who has effectively broken the sitcom curse, continuing to build a diverse portfolio that distances him from the character that made him famous. Melissa Rauch as Bernadette Rostenkowski-Wolowitz. Born on June 23, 1980, the Marlborough Township, New Jersey native initially joined the cast during the third season as a recurring guest star before her chemistry with the ensemble made her indispensable. At the age of 29, Rauch's portrayal of the petite microbiologist with the unexpectedly high-pitched voice and a surprisingly intimidating demeanor became an instant fan favorite. Her addition to the series was pivotal, serving as a cultural catalyst that helped evolve the show's dynamic by domesticating the previously sleazy Howard Wolowitz and proving that a character could be both sugary sweet and terrifyingly authoritative. While Bernadette was known for her distinctive squeaky voice and occasional aggressive outbursts, Melissa Rauch is naturally soft-spoken, with a much deeper vocal register, a stark contrast that frequently shocks fans during live interviews. Before landing her breakout role, she faced the brutal uncertainty of the acting industry. In fact, just days prior to receiving the life-changing call for the audition, she was at the unemployment office, struggling to make ends meet and fearing her career had stalled permanently. Even after achieving fame, she faced the professional hurdle of shedding such a specific caricature-adjacent persona, working diligently to prove her range extended beyond the comedic high-pitched sidekick role that defined her for a decade. Following the conclusion of the sitcom in 2019, Rauch successfully transitioned into production and lead roles, notably spearheading and starring in the revival of the classic courtroom comedy Night Court. She also diversified her portfolio by lending her voice to animated projects, distinctively moving away from Bernadette's tone to play characters like Harley Quinn. As of 2026, at the age of 46, she is an established power player in Hollywood, balancing her acting career with executive producing duties while raising her two children, having firmly secured her legacy well beyond the cafeteria of Caltech. Stephen Hawking as Stephen Hawking. Born on January 8, 1942 in Oxford, England, the world-renowned theoretical physicist brought his intellect and celebrity to The Big Bang Theory, playing a fictionalized, witty version of himself. At the age of 70, When he made his first physical appearance in Season 5, his role served as the ultimate authority figure within the show's universe, often appearing to humble the arrogant genius Sheldon Cooper. His recurring cameos were a cultural milestone for the series, validating its scientific themes while proving that one of the smartest men in history possessed a sharp sense of comedic timing. While the character of Stephen Hawking shared the real man's dry wit and brilliance, the reality of his existence involved a profound physical struggle that the brief sitcom scenes could only hint at. Unlike actors who struggle with typecasting or finding scripts, Hawking's primary battle was against the relentless progression of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, which had paralyzed him over the course of decades. Filming his appearances required immense logistical effort and patience, as he communicated solely through a speech-generating device operated by a single cheek muscle. Despite being the most recognizable scientist of his time, he faced the daily hardships of a severe disability, maintaining his public persona and humor despite physical limitations that would have silenced most others. Stephen Hawking remained active in the scientific community and pop culture until the very end of his life, continuing to publish books and deliver lectures on the origins of the universe. He appeared in a total of 7 episodes of The Big Bang Theory, with his voice also featured in the spin-off Young Sheldon. Stephen Hawking passed away at his home in Cambridge on March 14, 2018, at the age of 76, due to complications from his motor neuron disease. His passing was mourned globally, and he was accorded a rare honor during the aftermath. His ashes were interred in Westminster Abbey's Scientists' Corner, placed between the graves of Sir Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. Stan Lee as Stan Lee. Born on December 28, 1922 in New York City, the legendary comic book writer and publisher was already an icon when he graced The Big Bang Theory. At the age of 87, Lee's portrayal of himself, albeit a slightly fictionalized version, served as the ultimate validation for the show's geek-centric universe. His cameo, where he sarcastically invites Sheldon Cooper inside his home before calling the police, became an instant classic, cementing his status as the god of nerd culture. This appearance was a highlight in a career defined by his co-creation of Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Avengers, representing a cultural impact that revolutionized pop culture. Despite the grumpy and litigious demeanor he displayed in the sitcom scene, the real Stan Lee was renowned for his boundless energy, gregarious nature, and deep appreciation for his fanbase. This contrast highlighted the playful irony of his cameo work, where he often poked fun at his own stature. However, his life was not without significant hardships. Despite being the creative force behind a multi-billion-dollar empire, he spent years entangled in legal battles to secure fair royalties and recognition for his intellectual property. His later years were particularly difficult, marked by the loss of his beloved wife Joan, a struggle with macular degeneration that stole his ability to read comics, and distressing reports regarding elder abuse and financial exploitation by those managing his affairs. Stan Lee remained active in the public eye until the very end, continuing to film his trademark cameos for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even as his health declined. He passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles on November 12, 2018, at the age of 95 from cardiac arrest, respiratory failure, and congestive heart failure. His death triggered a global outpouring of tribute, acknowledging him as the architect of modern mythology. His final voice and live-action cameos were released posthumously in 2019, serving as a poignant farewell to a man whose imagination shaped the childhoods of generations. Laurie Metcalf as Mary Cooper. Born on June 16, 1955 in Carbondale, Illinois, the celebrated stage and screen actress joined the cast of The Big Bang Theory during its inaugural season. At the age of 52, Metcalf's portrayal of the Bible-thumping, sharp-tongued but loving Texan mother became an immediate comedic highlight, offering a perfect foil to the scientific eccentricity of her on-screen son Sheldon. Her performance was so defining and culturally resonant that it not only earned her an Emmy nomination, but also set the specific mannerisms and cadence for the character that her real-life daughter Zoe Perry would later emulate in the prequel series Young Sheldon. Unlike the dogmatic and extroverted fundamentalist she played, Laurie Metcalf is known in the industry as a quiet, intense, and highly disciplined actor's actor with deep roots in the Steppenwolf Theater Company. This personality contrast required her to rely heavily on her craft rather than personal experience to bring Mary Cooper to life. Her professional journey has not been without its hurdles. She faced the sudden and chaotic cancellation of the massive hit Roseanne revival due to her co-star's controversies, a situation that threatened to derail a major career comeback. Furthermore, despite her immense talent, she often struggled with short-lived series like The McCarthys and Easy Money, fighting to find vehicles that sustained audiences as well as her acclaimed supporting roles did. Laurie Metcalf remains a formidable force in Hollywood and on Broadway, widely regarded as one of the most versatile performers of her generation. As of 2026, at the age of 71, she is continuing her legacy in television, having successfully pivoted from the wreckage of the Roseanne cancellation to anchor the long-running spin-off The Conners. She maintains an active presence in theater and film, proving that her career longevity is built on a foundation of hard work and an ability to reinvent herself constantly. Christine Baranski as Beverly Hofstadter. Born on May 2, 1952 in Buffalo, New York, the Juilliard-trained actress made her first memorable appearance on the hit sitcom during its second season. At the age of 56, Baranski's portrayal of the brilliantly cold, analytical, and emotionally detached neuroscientist became an instant comedic sensation. Her deadpan delivery and distinct lack of maternal warmth provided the perfect foil for her on-screen son Leonard, while creating a unique and hilarious dynamic with Sheldon Cooper. Her performance was so culturally resonant that despite being a recurring guest role, it earned her multiple Emmy nominations and established Beverly Hofstadter as one of the most iconic recurring characters in modern television history. In reality, Christine Baranski is the polar opposite of the clinically unfeeling mother she played. She is widely known for her warmth, deep Catholic faith, and dedication to her family. This contrast highlights her immense range, but her career was not without its professional obstacles. Early in her television career, she faced the rich bitch typecasting that, while successful, limited the variety of roles she was offered. She also navigated significant industry volatility, most notably during her time on the sitcom Sybil, where despite winning an Emmy, she dealt with reported behind-the-scenes tensions with the show's lead and the show's eventual cancellation. Furthermore, she faced a devastating personal struggle in 2014 when her husband of 30 years, actor Matthew Cowles, passed away suddenly, forcing her to persevere in her high-profile career while processing profound grief. Christine Baranski has continued to dominate the television landscape well past the conclusion of The Big Bang Theory, transitioning seamlessly into acclaimed dramatic roles in The Good Wife, its spin-off, The Good Fight, and HBO's The Gilded Age. She remains a symbol of elegance and longevity in Hollywood, balancing her demanding work schedule with her role as a grandmother. As of 2026, at the age of 74, she is still actively starring in major productions, celebrated as one of the most versatile and respected actresses of her generation. Bob Newhart as Arthur Jeffries. Born on September 5, 1929 in Oak Park, Illinois, the comedy legend joined the cast of The Big Bang Theory, later in its run to play the cynical former children's science host, Professor Proton. At the age of 83, Newhart's portrayal of the weary and deadpan Arthur Jeffries became a massive critical success, introducing his unique comedic style to a younger generation. The role was deeply poignant, depicting a man struggling with his legacy and it ultimately earned Newhart his first and only Primetime Emmy Award in 2013, a long-overdue recognition for a lifetime of making people laugh. While Arthur Jeffries was portrayed as bitter, grumpy, and resentful of his Professor Proton persona, Bob Newhart was known in real life as a gentle, humble, and polite man, a stark contrast to the on-screen curmudgeon. However, Newhart's journey was not without its professional anxieties. He famously worked as an accountant in his early life, a job he struggled with and disliked intensely, before taking a terrified leap into stand-up. Even after his massive successes in the 1970s and 80s, he faced the harsh realities of television in the 1990s, enduring the cancellation of short-lived sitcoms like Bob and George and Leo, proving that even comedy icons were not immune to the industry's volatility. Bob Newhart remained a beloved figure in the entertainment industry well into his nonagenarian years, continuing to reprise his role as Arthur Jeffries, even as a Force ghost in the spin-off Young Sheldon. He faced personal heartbreak with the death of Ginny, his wife of 60 years, in 2023, which left him deeply grieved. Bob Newhart passed away at his home in Los Angeles on July 18, 2024, at the age of 94, following a series of short illnesses. His death was mourned globally as the loss of one of the most influential stand-up comedians and television actors of the 20th century. Mark Harelik as Dr. Eric Gabelhauser. Born on June 5, 1951, the Hamilton, Texas native joined the cast of The Big Bang Theory during its inaugural season to bring order and antagonism to the university's physics department. At the age of 56, Harelik's portrayal of the newly appointed department head provided a crucial foil for Sheldon Cooper, who viewed the character as a pseudoscientist. His performance was instrumental in establishing the show's academic hierarchy, and his character became a significant plot point early on, particularly through a humorous storyline involving a romantic entanglement with Sheldon's mother, Mary Cooper. While Gabelhauser was portrayed as a pompous bureaucrat, often ridiculed by the main characters for his lack of scientific rigor, Mark Harelik is in reality a deeply intellectual and highly respected playwright and stage actor. The contrast between the sitcom villain and the man who wrote the acclaimed play The Immigrant is stark. His time on the show also highlighted a common struggle for character actors, the lack of closure. Despite his character's authority and initial prominence, Dr. Gabelhauser simply vanished from the series after the second season without explanation or a farewell episode, a professional hazard where recurring roles are often cut unceremoniously due to creative pivots or budgetary changes. Mark Harelik continued to build an impressive and diverse resume long after his time at Caltech ended, balancing screen acting with his theater roots. He has been married to actress and former MAD-TV cast member Spencer Caden since 2004, and the couple has one child. His later career included distinguished roles in high-profile projects such as Trumbo, Battle of the Sexes, and a recurring spot on The Morning Show. As of 2026, at the age of 75, he remains a working actor and a revered figure in the theater community, continuing to perform and write with the same discipline that defined his decades-long career. Riki Lindhome as Ramona Nowitzki. Born on March 5, 1979 in Coudersport, Pennsylvania, the actress made her mark on The Big Bang Theory during its second season. At the age of 29, Lindhome's portrayal of the intense and obsessive graduate student Ramona Nowitzki became a memorable highlight of the show's early run. As Sheldon Cooper's overbearing admirer, she brought a manic, wide-eyed energy that perfectly juxtaposed the main character's robotic nature, creating a hilarious dynamic that resonated with fans enough to warrant her return to the series nearly a decade later for a significant plot arc involving Sheldon's engagement. While Ramona was defined by a frightening lack of social boundaries and a controlling demeanor, Riki Lindhome is a creative force known for her sharp wit and musical talent as one half of the comedy folk duo Garfunkel and Oates. This contrast highlights her range as she is far more self-aware and socially adept than her on-screen counterpart. However, her career has been marked by the volatile nature of the entertainment industry. She faced the disappointment of show cancellations, seeing her self-titled IFC series Garfunkel and Oates end after just one season, and her Comedy Central satire Another Period canceled after 3. She has openly discussed the hustle required to get projects greenlit and the struggle of navigating a Hollywood landscape that often compartmentalized her as the quirky girl before she could showcase her full dramatic potential. Lindhome has successfully diversified her career over the years, balancing acting with writing, directing, and a fulfilling family life, having married comedian Fred Armisen and welcomed a son in 2022. She transitioned into darker and more dramatic roles, gaining significant attention for her performance as Dr. Valerie Kinbot in the global hit series Wednesday, and appearing in the mystery film Knives Out. As of 2026, at the age of 47, she is an established multi-hyphenate in Hollywood, continuing to produce original content and perform in both comedic and dramatic roles, having long surpassed the specific niche of her early sitcom appearances. Watching the cast of The Big Bang Theory evolve reminds us that some bonds truly last a lifetime. While the sets have been struck and the costumes archived, the laughter they brought into our living rooms remains timeless. It's been an incredible journey, witnessing their transformation from 2007 to today. If this trip down memory lane touched your heart, please subscribe for more nostalgia and hit that notification bell.